Welcome everyone. I'm doing a voiceover since the audio for my recorded video unfortunately wasn't working. So if something doesn't match up, it's because I'm doing a voiceover. Okay, so the first thing you should do is open the Readme file. In there, it'll contain specific instructions to complete the image. This image was a little bit slow. I forgot to add some extra RAM to it. So here it'll show you some of the authorized administrators, the competition scenario, and what you're supposed to do with Windows. So as you see, it says you can't have any hacking tools, and Windows Action Center should be on. It also says you shouldn't attempt to install any Windows features, updates, or like anything else that they don't want. And these are the allowed users, and above it has the administrators, as you saw. So later on, we will, remove those who aren't the administrators. So what this forensic question is asking us is to configure, to find the directory in which the pin settings are located in. So to find that, we're going to have to open up the group policy, which I will do in a minute. Oh, I didn't even notice I added an extra character. It turned out not effective, but don't do that. Yeah, this was pretty slow. So once we're in here, I forgot the exact location of it, but it's under administrative templates. Yeah, usually, sometimes you won't remember this, so it's totally fine if you have to Google it. I had to Google this. As you can see, I didn't find it at first, so I had to Google it. It's going to be under system, and then it's going to be under pin configuration. Yeah, so I finally found it. Okay. So as you see here, it had like the minimum and maximum pin length settings. So we know that it's under pin complexity. So we're going to change the answer to pin complexity. And we're going to do Control S to save, and then we're going to close the notepad. Okay, now we're going to move on to forensic question number 2. So it's asking us to decode the following text, which is an ROT13. So we're going to use Firefox to go to a website called crypty.com. And in there, it'll give us different, it has like a library of different decoding stuff. So we paste the code in there, and as we see, it gave us the output, which is the world square. So we will substitute that in the forensic question and save it. Okay, now forensic question number 3 is asking us for the SHA-256 of the following file. So we're going to do this in PowerShell. So we know it's under redxc, the user. So the cd ... will go back one directory, and then cd and then the name of the directory will go in it. So we're going to redxc and then pictures, and then we're going to do get file hash, and then we're going to write the name of the file. So you can write the name of the file, and then you can just press tab and it'll autocomplete it for you. And then this is like the full command, and as you can see under hash, it'll give us our answer which we are looking for. So we will copy that, and then in forensic questions 3 we will paste that in there and save the file. Okay, so here we have the authorized users, and now we're going to open up group management to remove those who aren't authorized users or administrators. So we're going to go into users first to remove users who aren't allowed to be there. So what we're going to do is compare those on the Readme file and those on the group who are showing up as users. And you can see like who's missing and who's not missing. Usually this will give you about, usually it's just 1 point for removing a user who isn't there and adding passwords. Sometimes the Readme file will also ask you to add a user. So to do that, you will just go in an empty space like in the bottom, right click and then click add user. Here I'm just comparing the users, and as you can see I found a user who wasn't authorized. Yeah, so when it's not authorized, you just right click on it and click delete, and it'll get rid of the user. And I believe here I found another user who is not supposed to be here. No, I did not. Okay, now I did. Okay, so we're going to delete that user right there. Okay, just making sure the rest were also authorized. Now we're going to be adding passwords. So what you usually do is just like write one password and use it for all your users. So I just wrote password123 with a special character because we will set some special settings or security policies later on. So you just click on set password and you can just paste it in there over and over again. Okay, so now we're done adding the passwords. There's much quicker ways to do this using PowerShell or scripts, but for simplicity, we will just copy and paste them. So now we will be looking for the authorized administrators to see who isn't allowed. And as you see, I just removed one, and now I will remove another. So you just click on them and then click delete and then apply. Okay, so now we're done with that portion. So now we're going to go into control panel. I like to sort by category, and we're going to uninstall programs which aren't supposed to be there. So Wireshark was a network spoofer, and so is it NCAP. I accidentally uninstalled Firefox instead of a network stumbler, which I will actually forget about until later in this video. But it's okay. We can just re-download Firefox, which we will do in a minute, which will cost us some time, but it's not much more time. And something that you should have done since the beginning, but I forgot to do, was start Windows updates. That usually takes a while, so it's best if you do it since the beginning. So meanwhile that's happening, we will re-download Firefox. You should also, I recommend having a flash drive with tools you usually like download, like Malwarebytes. Firefox shouldn't be reinstalled. You should just be able to update it from pressing settings and help, and then clicking checking for updates. So as you see here, like the Windows update was progressing. Now I just have to wait for Firefox to install. And yeah, to be more efficient, you should do smart stuff while other stuff is happening. I just misspelled the program. So we're gonna go to security policies. I recommend you have a checklist with different stuff you should be doing. Most of the time you won't remember everything, but so it's great if you have a checklist. Oh, here I show how to update. So you just go help and then what's new. Usually it just says click here to update, but we reinstall, so we're on the latest version. During a competition scenario, you usually get points deducted if you accidentally delete something, but as long as you reinstall it, you should be good. So now we're going to edit the security policies. This should take about, I don't know, like 5 minutes. Shouldn't take too long. I'll give you guys my checklist and just do what's on there. We will skip this portion in the video. So you're supposed to rename the administrator account. So if a hacker was able to access the computer, they wouldn't. If they were to try to gain access, they would go after the administrator account. So if you renamed it something that is an admin, like really anything else, it would prevent it. So that's why you should rename both the admin and the guest account to something other than admin and guest. I won't be doing all the security policies here, but we will go over the most important ones. So we're going to skip to the account logout policy and the password policy. Okay, so here we set the account logout threshold to 30 or 5, and we just set everything else 30. And then password history should be somewhere between I believe 5 and 7, so I just do 10. Usually I just do what's in the middle just to be safe. Password length, I usually set it should be somewhere from 8 to 14. I do 10. And then password must meet complexity requirements should be enabled, which is why we entered a special character in the password we were copying. And then storing passwords using reversible encryption, that should always be disabled. You never want a password to be able to be disencrypted or decrypted. Now we're going to turn on the firewall. So you have to go to Control Panel and then Firewall Advanced Settings, and then you go to Properties. So everything was on in that portion, so you just have to turn off unicast response, but for the other domains we had to turn back on. You should do it for domain, private, and public profile. They should always be set to on, block, allow, and then no for unicast response. Now we're going to download our antivirus to delete the viruses. I always use Malwarebytes, which I also recommend you do during the competition scenario. So you can download it on their website, which is malwarebytes.com, and it will just download as an executable, which you will launch. The setup process isn't long. Just click on personal computer and skip, and then it should finish installing within a couple seconds. As you see here, I'm almost done, so all I have to do is... Oh, I just noticed one of the last things I forgot to do was remove network stumbler, which I mentioned earlier over the voiceover, which I forgot to skip. So it wasn't showing up, or actually was, I just don't know, I didn't check. But I went to the File Explorer, and I went to where it said it was located, which was in Program Files x86. As you can see there. So I will just delete the entire folder. You shouldn't do this, but sometimes you can't find it. This could have been found if I went to the control panel. I don't know why I didn't do that. And then CC Cleaner isn't installed on your computer. It's just an executable that runs every single time you launch it. So you could just delete it from there. Now we're going to scan in Malwarebytes. We will scan. And in a couple seconds, you'll see that it'll already start detecting some viruses on the computer. As you see, it's one right there. Sometimes you don't get points for this. Most of the time you do. Most of the time you will be asked to find a backdoor on the computer, which is a little harder to find, but there is a Malwarebytes utility that you can use to find them. The normal Malwarebytes won't be able to find it. As you can see, it was already, the one I just uninstalled was already in control panel, but it'll just say that it was already uninstalled. And I gained pointer now for removing net stumbler, so I could have finished a lot earlier. And as you can see, I was able to complete this image in about 20 minutes. Yeah, about 20 minutes, so we're just going to stop it. The actual time I spent on this was like 17, but it counts the time that you were in the login screen as well for some reason. So yeah, that's a full guide on how to complete the Windows image.